check. We not take back no chest. You pep talk. Tiggity check. Hey girl, let's lay the shot. We know say Wilder, you don't want the drama. When Tyson rise up the llama.
That he's actually been able to provide, and that's it. Like, for the rest of the stuff, I live it up to him and being an imperfect guy. I'm 50, he's 34. Like, if you want to charge, if you wanted to,
I need to know who your king had, your king's age.
Hey, listen, all of my I called you queen, right? This is kings are like there's a difference about and I'm his king, right? But, like, let's get it right. Let's get it right. Right? let's get this. Let's keep it all the way funky, right? Because I get it. I get where you're going with it, but I'm trying to just reel it back, because if we're talking about heavyweights and we're talking about boxing, then Wilder is he's in the firmament. He's not some passing comment. Right now, he is one of the established planets that is making the universe spin. So, I mean, you can be mad at the universe, but that's what it is.
He's making your universe spin.
Okay. All right, cool. So why is Tyson Fury the man then?
And that's fine if he makes your.
Why is Tyson Fury the man?
And if he's your king.
I didn't bring up Deontay Wilder.
If he no, but
I didn't bring up any of this stuff about Deontay Wilder. We're talking about heavyweight boxing.
Obviously, he's always in the news for stupidity. It's never because he's fighting. Let's tell the truth. So we're just reporting stuff and talking about he's one of the current heavyweights. Well, he was soon to be non-existent, as we can clearly see the route that he's taking. He's going on to fight Prince Charles. I mean, it's not really. He was the WBC champ, and then now you've got your head bounced off the canvas, sent out all of these big conspiracy theories that everybody's going Bayless to
the Charles Martin fight coming off of a loss like that.
There is.
I get it. Lady Chann's a huge Wilder fan. I'm picking it up.
No, there is. But we've got Sammy, speak. Well gone.
Yo, Lady Chann, what's going on, man?
Tell me, what's happening? What do you like to say?
Yeah, I was gonna say that. So
we got Tunde, by the way. He's in bed watching. Yes, T.
Yo, Tunde, man. Yeah, so the way that I like to see the heavyweights.
You need to sound a bit louder, babe.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So the way that I like to categorize the heavyweights.
No, you're low now.
Wait, you can't hear me?
Yeah, that's perfect.
That's good.
Yeah, so the way that I like to categorize the heavyweights is in 3 levels. So you have your elite heavyweights, which is like your AJ, your Tyson Fury, your Dylan White, your Povetkin. Then you have your top level heavyweights, which is like your Wilder, your Ruiz, like your Charles Martins. And then you have your prospects. So they're up and coming heavyweights. So you have Dubois, Fabio Woodley, and boxers like that. But I can see why they would say Wilder's in the top 3, because if you look at the top 10 heavyweights, Wilder has actually defeated Luis Ortiz.
Yeah.
Who is in the top 10.
Yeah.
And he's also fought Tyson Fury, who's the top heavyweight in the world. And he's achieved a draw, which is still not a win, but he's had 2 great wars with Tyson Fury. So I can see why they would say that.
Yeah. But that's why I said I can get it kind of like that. Oh, I get it.
But what I don't understand, Jay, is there's a lot of US fans that jump on this hype train of Wilder's this, Wilder's that. But it's you need to sort of conceive your own views and formulate your own opinion on how you feel towards a boxer. You can't just go off what other people say. Wilder, for instance, he's judging other communities and other races in a way that he wouldn't like to be judged.
You need to come closer to your mic. We're struggling to hear you.
Yes, like Martin Luther King and all of these significant people in Black history fought for equality within the Black community. They didn't fight to have power over other ethnicities.
Thank you.
If that makes sense.
Yep.
So we need to embrace everyone for who they are and treat people the way that we expect to be treated. If that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Perfect sense. And do you think that Wilder represents this? Do you think he represents equality, or do you think he represents segregation?
So obviously, I don't know Wilder on a personal level to judge him, but from what I've seen, I feel like Wilder, like everyone, is quite hot-headed, and he can make some comments that are quite derogative, and that would offend a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just him, because if you see like Tyson Fury and other boxers, they all tend to make these mistakes. So we've got to be a bit open-minded and see. You know, we can't just judge people based on one thing.
And I think we also need to. Sorry, Sam. Sorry, Sammy. I think we also need to appreciate that it's the guy's first loss, and he had been telling himself that he said he was in some almost drowning accident. He almost drowned when he was younger, and his grandmother told him that he's been ordained to do something special, and he genuinely believed that. And I just think he's taken his loss really bad, which is why we're getting some of the things that he's come out after taking a loss.
Yeah, exactly.
But, we have to put some of this into some kind of context. I mean, he was an undefeated heavyweight champion, and that not everybody takes that first loss very well at all. I was surprised that he waited so long, and then still came out with the stuff. But if it's what he believes, I believe he should speak his truth, and stand by it and give him his credit. That's what he done. He hasn't just hidden behind.
Leon, fight fan figures. Let's just bring you right back down to fucking planet Earth. No.
Measured and reasonable.
Listen. There's taken a loss badly, and there's delusions of mass grandeur.
Yeah, like
right now we're in delusions of mass grandeur.
What's deluded about 5-year reign as a WBC heavyweight champ?
No, that's what accolades. Well, that's not the deluded part. How he's taken this loss is where we've gone into the twilight zone here.
So I think that there's just a different, like, the only thing that solves what people's issue is with Deontay Wilder when it comes to the way he's handled this loss is the truth. Everyone feels like they know what the truth is, right? So that's cool. I think that if everybody knowing what their truth is should recognize that their truth is based on ignorance. All of it. Like, everybody that was saying that they know is certainly what happened must admit to themselves that they actually don't know certainly what's happened, and that Wilder isn't doing any more to speak but speaking their truth to what he believes happened than everybody else who has an opinion about what happened.
I would have to disagree.
The thing about Wilder is he's a lot closer to the actual events.
Go on, Sammy.
I would have to disagree with that, because I feel like the way that we portray ourselves, like, is also just as important as our feelings as well, because you can't just like judge, you can't just form like conclusions that have no backing. Like, he's been saying that his suit is the reason he lost the fight, and then he will jump to Mark Breland liking his like, what's the logic?
Well, right. So the logic isn't in the invalid. It's invalid, right? So your form is valid, but it's actually the content that's not. He did not say that the suit is why he lost the fight. So that's the issue, right? And that's what you keep coming back to, this whole idea, right? So it's there's a series of bad information that is now drawing a conclusion that isn't supported by the premise. Even though your conclusion might be correct, it may be the fact that when it comes right down to it, with the way that Wilder behaves is not in a manner that you want people to behave. So it actually doesn't matter what arguments you come up with, because the end result is you don't like the way the guy behaves.
Listen, DTS, DTS.
That's it. He's a prick, and I may be being immature. I don't give a shit. That is not the way that any 35 going on 36-year-old is supposed to conduct themselves. Nobody's saying that he isn't supposed to take the loss hard or whatever. Everybody takes their losses as their losses. Like, some people really internalize. Like, at this point, we want him just to internalize shit and shut the fuck up and stop putting out these conspiracy theories. Smoke. It is ridiculous. and you said that you're 50 years old. It's ridiculous. The onslaught of what this geezer has said, the disrespect, the whole VARDA State Commission was in on it. Kenny Good Bayliss was in on it. Mark Breland was in on it. Clearly, Tyson Fury with the loaded gloves was in on it.
Okay, so right, so I'm sorry. You say all of that. All right, so first off, let me ask you a question: has the Nevada Athletic Commission ever caught anybody with tampering with their gloves?
No,
Ever
they
in the
never
history?
have.
All right, so great. So I don't know why.
But guess what?
I don't understand why.
But guess what? What was that guy that was caught?
That means they don't have to be in on it. They can just keep doing their crappy job, right? So let's just take.
So let me just counteract that to you. Let me just counteract. Whoa. So yeah, they could be doing their crappy job. But guess whose job it is for those types of things to be detected? The people on your team, i.e. Jay Diaz. Jay Diaz is there when the gloves are getting wrapped.
Correct. Right.
So if Tyson Fury did have loaded gloves, and yes, the Nevada State Commission, they're doing their shit job where they've just let it evade them. Why was Mark only Breland then? If Jay Diaz is in charge of watching the gloves get wrapped, why is he not fired? He's obviously negligent.
Okay, so for my reading of, and I am not in their camp. I am thinking that it's probably a straw that broke the camel's back and not the thing. And if you hear the guy speaking, I think it's more of a reaction to the fact that the towel got thrown in than it is about the other thing. Right? So I think
he still said Mark Breland spiked his water, but we'll give the benefit of the doubt that it was only solely to do with throwing in the towel. Cool. I'll give them that.
I don't know.
Even though that was bullshit.
It could be one thing is definitely something that he knows he did, and another thing is something that he suspects he did, and he's accusing him of doing it, and he's thinking that the guy is a snake, right? Because Mark Breland is a product of Crunk Gym, right? So it could be all things Crunk are his enemy. Right, and that could be what's informing this thing. And again, I'm on the outside.
Didn't he know that when Tyson Fury moved over to the Crunk Gym before the second fight, that it was all things Crunk then? So why didn't he sack Breland from them, saying, you know what, I don't trust you because Tyson Fury is now, from the first fight to this fight, he's going to be doing all things Crunk now, and you are actually affiliated with the Crunk. Just in case, I don't really trust this little setup. So, Mark Breland, as mad as it seems to me, this makes sense to me. You're fired now.
I don't think he even contemplated losing to Fury.
I think that my own reading, his primary issue was the throwing in the towel. Not that he was part of Crunk Gym. Not that he was.
Yeah, but you just like because it was all things Crunk.
Right, I think, like I said, I think the water is a proposition that he is forming. Right, he's saying, I believe that you did this. He's saying that I put it as knowledge that he did it, but the knowledge that he did it is really sounding like he just suspects that he did it. So for whatever reason that he suspects he did it is between those two guys. The firing of him seems to be centered around the throwing in of the towel. That seems to be the thing that he went the most.
Yeah, we've done with that. He still said he spiked his water.
He did say that. He did say. I'm not saying he didn't, right? And when it comes down to the overall way that people should conduct themselves in the public square, right? I think that is definitely something that if I was Mark Breland, I would be upset about. But I think that it seems to me that the people are more upset than Mark Breland is about him saying it. And it's not like he's accusing the people of spiking his water. He's accusing Mark Breland of doing it. And why is it our job to be more outraged about it than Mark Breland?
But once again,
Mark Breland's outraged. He is outraged, but he's just quite guy. He already put out his little big up Karma Serene. Big up. I'm glad there's a girl that comes through on the chats. Thanks for coming through. Lol, he took the loss hard. Real hard. But go on, Sammy. Go on. Yeah. This is turned into the Wilder show, and I didn't want to turn this into a Wilder show, but it's fine. Go ahead.
Once again, he's kind of like beating around the bush because he's saying, he's saying like Mark Breland could have, would have, should have. But when you form like a judgment, you need to have justification. You need to have evidence. You need to like form it on a case by case scenario. You can't just say, I think Mark Breland did this. I think he or she did this, without no like backing. Because that's
Okay.
just
So the thing is, you feel like he is not justified in making the statement that he's making to the public. And that's cool that you have that feeling. I'm not saying that you're not justified in feeling that way.
I don't
But
have that feeling.
But Deontay Wilder is not beholden to your rules about how he should be behaving in the public sphere.
But he
All
hasn't
that speaks to
anything.
is whether or not you are a fan of his behavior. That's it. It doesn't mean anything other than that. Like that's cool. He may have just a deep gut feeling, and that is enough for him to go and throw that
I
man
don't
under the
think
bus
you're
in the
understanding
public
my
sphere.
point.
And for me, I wouldn't do that. I would behave differently, right? But at another point, if that is the way that you clear yourself, if you are Mark Breland, if you feel like you need to clear yourself, or if you feel like you've been harmed, there is a remedy for that in the public square. Mark Breland hasn't taken that option. He hasn't done anything about that. All he did is send a cryptic tweet that didn't confirm or deny, and made a bunch of appearances online where he didn't talk about it at all. Like when somebody
This is
brought it
all
up, he went on
conspiracy.
something
This
else,
is all
and
conspiracy.
and Mark Breland seems to be living his best life. He is not tripping off of it, right? So all of these people who seem to be outraged about Mark Breland's treatment, it seems to me that this is just one other straw that is loaded on the
Once
camel's
again,
back
you're
of Deontay
speculating a
Wilder's
lot.
character. That's really what this is about: is an ongoing indictment of the man's character.
Still, you haven't
gives us
justified
a lot
anything.
of ammo to do so. Sorry.
You still
I,
haven't justified anything. Like
I don't. I'm not. I don't. It's not my job to justify anything.
Well, it clearly is.
It really is not. Listen,
I hope you're
I'm trying to
getting
sum
paid
it
a
up.
lot of money.
Okay, you're trying to make it my job. You're trying to
hope
make
you're
it my
getting paid
job,
a
but
lot of
not.
money. I hope you're getting paid. You better be getting paid. You better be on the payroll. He better have sacked Breland and then hired you.
Okay, so are you on the payroll then? Are you on Eddie Hart's payroll? Okay, so wait a minute. You are on the
we're
payroll.
just speaking
Guess
facts.
why I'm not on the payroll? Guess why I'm not on the payroll? Because my mother always told me to out fools for free.
Right. Okay. So here's what I. Here's.
I
Okay.
do this for free. I do this for free. I do this for free. I do this for free. Liars are paid. People that speak the truth like me, we do it for free. That's the code of ethics that I was raised by. So you better be getting a good paycheck for selling out like that.
I'm just following mom's advice, just like you.
Because you're selling out big time.
No, actually, I'm here for you guys.
Yeah, I know, and I love it. I love it. And we need people like you on the show. We need it. And tomorrow there's no love lost, but we're gonna chop it up. Well, this is how intense we get. Me and you are on other channels where we're on other channels, Smoke, and me and you are against the others. And then we're on other channels where you say something and you're against me. It's always been that way. I hold my own. I don't give a shit. But what I'm saying is there's no love lost, but you're selling it. You're selling it, mate. I just hope for this you're getting paid very, very handsomely.
Yeah, no, so here's the thing.
You're getting paid as handsome as you are.
Look at now I'm blushing. All right, so hold up. All you're saying is what I agree, is that we both keep it 100 when it comes to what it is how we feel about a situation, the way we see it, right? Sometimes it may reveal some biases, sometimes it may sometimes not. Right. I feel like I try to be as rational as possible because for me, as I keep saying, I don't even go to character judgments when it comes to these guys, but because I don't know them well enough. Right. So then it becomes to me a really an academic exercise as to how people should behave in the public square, and that's cool. We can have those kinds of arguments and those kinds of differences, but when it comes down to it like that, we start to get a really far afield from the fact that these guys get punched in the face for a living. Like I'm not going to be voting for Deontay Wilder for president, just so you know.
Sure.
If there's a humanitarian award I don't. It's not Deontay Wilder is not on my top 10 finalists, right? So this whole idea that I'm selling something, what to me, what you guys are selling is some
You guys are
character
too good,
assassination
man,
that is
at
justified.
selling stuff.
Cool. If you want to justify, if you want to assassinate any public figure's character, you are perfectly willing and able to do. I mean, you're perfectly in your well within your rights to do so because
Thank you.
that's what they put themselves out there for. That's part of what their job description is, right? So knock away. But at the same time, don't act like when I'm pointing it out is because I'm somehow what defending Deontay Wilder. But at any point, like for me, have at him. Have at him. That's what
Yeah,
he's
but
there
you're
for.
forming.
I, all right.
You're
What I like, again,
Let me
I'm going to
talk.
refocus this. I'm going to re-anchor this in the heavyweight division and boxing, and then not and my own personal self-interest, which is entertaining fights. At the end of the day, which is what this man provides for me,
You're
right?
dead.
But you're making opinions, yeah, based on like emotions.
Okay.
We're speculating based on what we have. We're using the information that we have, and we're formulating various like things
No,
that could be
I think
possible.
Smoke is basing his opinion based on he's considered thoughts of what's happened as well. I don't think
Yeah, I'm
he's
using the
considered
cognitive
emotional
process.
perspective. Yeah, I
All
don't
right.
think he's talking for emotion.
All right, but can we answer Karma what Shireen? Because I share the same sentiment of what she's saying. Like, you can't accuse someone of criminal activity. That's slander and libel, and it's illegal. And it's not about Wilder's feelings.
Clearly you can, and it's not. Clearly you can, and it's on the person who feels like they have like
Being
their rights have been
defended.
infringed on to actually to defend that, right? Because it seems like what Breland is saying is either at one hand, you may be right, or on the other hand, I actually don't care. So it's not as though Deontay Wilder has accused the public. So the public seems to be, but the public outcry should be, why isn't Mark Breland defending the rights of every single person in the public sphere?
Okay, then I'll speculate then. So I'll say that Mark Breland doesn't want to embarrass Deontay Wilder by coming out.
Right.
So I'm
Because he could
speculating.
just done him.
I can say that.
I think he's
say that.
he's definitely taking the moral high ground.
He could done him. He could done him. He could done him. Let's have it right. Mark Breland's probably got more class in his little finger than Deontay Wilder clearly possesses in his whole entire 6'4" frame, 213 pounds. Let's have it right. Yeah, so maybe Mark Breland has got grace, has been blessed with etiquette and decorum, has been raised well, and just thought, you know what? What's done in the dark will come to light. You're a disgusting human being for how you've treated me. But I'm not going to stoop to the same level as you and desecrate your whole lineage because you're doing that in one foul swoop yourself.
But he hasn't had to really, has he? Because of the public reaction to what happened to him. The public's generally been
right. So that none of that answered my question, right? So what it seems, if what I'm hearing is correct, if you are answering my question, what you're saying is he is more beholden to himself and some moral high ground and the way that he was raised than it is to defend what the public discourse should be. So there's something that is actually more important than what it is we're even talking about. Whether or not somebody should go into the public sphere and lob baseless accusations toward the person. Apparently, the person is like, I have more self-interest involved in this thing. I don't actually get there. So this is not a priority. This is not a priority for me. And everybody shrugs at it, right? So you shrug at that. So then what actually is the offense? If there's all these things with this, if the priority isn't
an offense in itself.
but not now the question, but the issue is, are you correct in your assessment that he actually has no evidence?
You said we're just going by assumption, so we just dived in now.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Right, so you said the gentleman Saddam. I think you said Saddam. Is that your name?
Sami Ali.
Yeah.
Sami Ali. No, Smoke. His name's Sami Ali.
Yeah, my name's Sammy.
Smoke?
Oh, he's gone, man.
Smoke, where are you? No, he's still there. Smoke, where you go? Oh, he's muted. Maybe he's doing something.
Oh, okay. No. Okay, sorry.
Oh, okay.
I thought I started. Hey, what's up, Sami Ali?
Yeah.
What's up, bro? So Sami intimated that I was coming off of my emotions, right? And I am saying to you that I'm going by what is the empirical evidence, and then also what I don't know. Right. So the empirical evidence is he outed that he charged this guy with doing some illegal and immoral acts. Right. And didn't provide the evidence to
Okay,
me.
but I
Right.
can say that.
So let me finish, and didn't provide the evidence to me. Right. So I can say that for me, I have a beef with you because now you're asking me to distrust this other guy based on your word. Right. So I understand that how fans could be put off by that and be demanding more information. Right. I totally get that. Right. So if we and I concede that that is an issue that fans would rightly and justifiably have with this guy.
But I can say
Yeah.
that you see Mark Breland, yeah. Realistically, if he wanted to get more like media coverage and like try and sue Wilder for his own means, he could come out and he can nail Wilder. He can say, "What is this guy trying to put on my name? What kind of bullshit is he putting on my name?" But he chooses not to do that. So I don't understand how we can say that Mark Breland has any involvement in terms of any
The corruption that he's
yeah,
accused of.
exactly. Because surely he would benefit from coming out on the media and embarrassing Wilder, if that makes sense.
So that just shows what type of person he is. Or you could also take it, if you're going to play devil's advocate, that he's guilty and he's just got away with it, so he's just said nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
The only thing he's guilty of is that he wasn't supposed to throw in the towel, but look, the dude's head was getting bounced off the canvas, and he did what he thought was right. Let's just have it right.
Yeah, right. So, and there's a deal. There's a deal. Like, so if you know it's a fireable offense, then really, what are we talking about? Like, so, and I get it's a morass of issues because of all of the things that have come out. But as far as the firing goes, it's my reading, as I said a bunch, that they signed waivers saying that there would be no throwing in a towel, regardless of the
Go
circumstance.
out of my shield.
Right.
Sorry.
Exactly. Right. So the fact that he is paying this dude with the expectation that in that circumstance he is not going to throw in the towel, and that's basically what he's paying him to not do. Mark Breland made a choice that he said that actually I can't fulfill that responsibility. I'm going to throw in the towel and now to me should accept the consequences of that decision. Do I want to see a snuff film? No, I don't. I'd like to see an athletic competition. I don't need to see Deontay Wilder, Patrick Day, anybody, Dillian White, name the fighter, AJ, Tyson Fury, all these dudes. I
Remember
want them to
when
be.
AJ lost to Ruiz?
Say again?
Do you remember when AJ lost to Ruiz and
Yeah,
then
the lucky punch from the gods.
yeah, the lucky punch from the gods.
Yeah. I remember that. I remember that one. Yeah. I remember vividly. What's going
And
on?
it cut to Wilder laughing hysterically, and then when AJ lost, I'm just talking about when AJ lost. He didn't use when you know the AJ fanboys and fangirls were coming out with the reason why he lost this and the reason why he lost that. Remember, AJ just kind of put it to bed. He just went on his media, went on his social media, went, look, don't make any excuses for me. I lost, the better man won, and that is that. All we're asking is we don't understand, like, can you see the clear difference of, like, your king is here? Like, get out of town, mate. Like, you're just a bad loser. Kings don't lose badly. If you was a true king, you're acting like a pauper.
Okay, so I think you're being liberal with the term king, right? So when we're talking about kings and queens, we're actually talking about our ancestry. We're not actually talking about a literal monarch, right? Well, then why did
Look, I do know. I'm still black. I know what the king and queen.
So then what are we doing then? Then why do you keep saying this?
I have an ancient Egyptian.
I got you. So I know that you know. So why are you doing this?
So what I'm saying is, I'm going to spin the narrative of where
that's what we're doing. Okay.
Because you know why? Because he spun it. Because obviously, if he's talking about kings and queens and this king is here, and he's not talking about it in the monarchy terms, why did he then call Dillian White a peasant and kings only chase kings? Because in monarchy, in the monarchy, remember, we live in a country where we have monarchy. We're the peasants, by the way. We're the peasants, and anybody that is of royal lineage or
Yeah, no, I got you.
aristocracy,
Shan,
we're
I'm good.
peasants. So he called Dillian White a peasant. So that means he's showing that he's a king within the sense of a monarchy. I'm just
I
showing
think he
you
was
how much
talking about. I
he
think he was
contradicts
objecting.
himself.
No, he
No,
does. Hey,
Shan, I think
listen,
he was objecting to
He
Eddie
just
Hearn
contradicts himself,
putting
and it's
Dillian White
quite
ahead of him.
mean. Yeah,
listen. Do I think Deontay Wilder has grasped the nuances of the English language?
he
Come
has.
on, man.
You know?
Like, what are we doing? Like, why are we doing this? Why are
This
we
is what
like
I'm saying.
the guy? I mean,
Yeah,
okay. If he was,
you have to let me land, Smoke. I was getting
all right.
there.
So here's where Deontay Wilder is brilliant inside the ring. Like all of the stuff that you're talking about is not inside the ring, and
I know. That's the shame of it.
to the point that to the like I don't understand. Like, is the man running for some sort of office? What are we? Why are we so focused on his character? Is he
Because
running for a
no,
championship? Is he running for
no,
heavyweight champion of
we
the world?
haven't.
Or is he fighting for a heavyweight champion of the world?
We've never faced a boxer that is
That's
so
exactly what we're
massively
asking you.
outrageous.
Oh, really? Oh, do
Like
you think
this,
Muhammad Ali? What did you think
Muhammad
Muhammad Ali was?
Ali,
What do you think
Muhammad
Muhammad Ali
Ali
was?
was outrageous. But furthermore, I weren't alive them day there, so really I have to take myself out. I can just go by what I can Google and what I can see and what my dad and my stepdad could tell me. But like, you know, I'm a bit way younger than that, so I weren't about. So in my era, and that spans, and that even spans in your era, but maybe not, because you're saying Muhammad Ali was more outrageous. I've never seen such an outrageous sportsman in any sport than with all of this controversy in my life than what Deontay Wilder has brought. And it's a shame because it's diminished what he's doing and what he's done in the ring, because this is so crazy. You have to admit it, Smoke. Stop being in denial. This story is mad.
I've
Who
seen
said the
worse
story
than
wasn't
Wilder,
bad?
by the way.
Okay, all right. So now you're strawmanning me. Now you're creating arguments I never made and attributing to me. Like, okay, that's cool. Do you mean me to say that the story is mad? I believe you mean crazy. And yes, it is definitely crazy, right? But that doesn't mean that the truth isn't crazy sometimes, right? Like, I understand that even in my own opinion, I don't know what the truth is. You guys seem to be interested in conversion. Like, I don't understand. Like, are we okay? So is this a conversation about exchanging opinions? Or are we trying to stamp out heresy? Because I'm not. I don't pray at the altar that you pray at. I'm just letting you know. And it doesn't mean that I'm paid informant for somebody. It doesn't mean anything other than. It doesn't mean anything other than when it comes to
my order's good. It's got a Jesus that looks like me, because that's what
Yeah,
it would really have been back in the times.
all right.
You know, so my order's quite good. It's not a picture of like a 6'4" failed basketball player, failed boxer. Like, I just tried. Sorry, my
Okay.
order's mad good. I'm all right with my order. Anyway,
Interesting. A
let's
failed
keep
boxer.
it
Okay,
going.
so a guy
You can't
who
fail boxer.
walks
Come on.
a guy who walks into a boxing gym at 20 years old in order to provide medicine for his spina bifida daughter,
Yeah,
rises to the level of
and I
becoming
took them through most of them.
rising to the level of a Hall of Fame boxing career, amassing tens of millions of dollars along the way, is a failure in your estimation.
Yeah, because in one foul swoop, he fucked it all up. Your whole
Okay,
legacy.
you do know that no matter what he did, that's not going to go away.
His daughter. So you're supposed to be doing things that none of your kids, when they Google you, when they're at a Googleable age where they can go on the internet, maybe some are already, you don't want that. This is the first thing that comes up about their dad.
Heavyweight champion for 5
The
years.
legacy is ruined. Don't you understand his legacy? He is a mockery. He's a mockery.
Hey, Lady Chann, do you think that your kids are going to have a different opinion of you because of what they Google about you?
No, you know what? My kids.
Like, come on now, stop playing. Stop playing. Like, what are we doing right now?
Let me land. You asked me a question. You see this? This is me. I don't come on with this like camera action. See, when I do my music, it's me. Everybody knows it. That's why people like me.
100%.
Like, and my kids know me. So when they see me on this, they just be like, that's our mum. She's no different anywhere.
Why do you think Deontay Wilder's kids will be different?
Because what? Does he say?
I really wouldn't be surprised if he did.
He's spinning a narrative So you're saying that the madness that he's spinning outside here, everybody taking his water, muscle relaxers. So what is that? Do they see that normally? Like that he spins those crazy narratives at home then? Like sometimes he wakes up and his fiance, he feels a bit weak and he goes, oh, that costume that I wore like for Halloween, man, that fucked me up the other day, man. I should have wore it. Now I can't run around with the kids. And you know what? I feel mad tired. I bet you've been putting some shit in my fucking suit. Like it's over now. So is that what we're going with here? So okay then.
I wouldn't be surprised if he genuinely believed it.
He's wild.
Shem, I wouldn't be surprised if he genuinely believed it. I would not be surprised. And if you genuinely believe something, why wouldn't you tell your children? I think if you believe it, why wouldn't he?
Yeah. No, I'm not saying that he. I'm not actually saying that he doesn't tell his children this, and that's like he's one of them people that I don't know him yet again, but we're speculating. I just have to speculate that he's run with this lie so bad, like to make himself look like a hero to his kids. Still, he has to justify why he lost, and he's taken this to the motherfucking grave.
Chickity check. We not take back no checks. You pep talk. Chickity check. Hey girl, let's leave the shot.